Let's go Eagles. You can celebrate, because Howie Roseman said yes and just shocked everyone by signing a major new signing for the Eagles. I'll tell you all the details, but first make sure you've already hit the like button, but only do that if you love the Philadelphia Eagles with all your heart. If possible, write something like this: Go Eagles! Let's go to the Super Bowl. Yes, my friends, it's great to support the Eagles. Go Birds! Now let's get to the point. Our beloved team just signed Gardner Johnson, a player who embodied the heart and soul of this defense. In just 2 seasons with the team, he became a leader, a strong point guard, and someone who played with undeniable swagger. And yet, out of nowhere, he was gone. Traded to the Houston Texans in a deal that left many Eagles fans stunned. Now let's break this down. The Eagles sent Gardner Johnson and a 2026 6th-round pick to Houston in exchange for Kenyon Green and a 2026 5th-round pick. Green, a former first-round pick, has had a rough start to his NFL career, struggling as one of the league's lowest-rated guards. But there's a catch. He's now under the tutelage of Jeff Stoutland, the best offensive line coach in football. If anyone can turn Green's career around, it's Stoutland. But does this move make sense for Philadelphia? Why trade a defensive leader for a struggling offensive lineman? Here's where things get really interesting. Gardner Johnson went live on Twitch shortly after the trade and said something that raised eyebrows. He mentioned that there's no bad blood between him and the Eagles, but also pointed out that players on that defense are going to need to get paid. That's a key statement. The Eagles are already preparing for massive contracts in the future. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Reed Blankenship, and even recently re-signed veterans like Zach Cunningham and Quinyon Mitchell. Philadelphia is thinking long-term, making sure they have the cap space to retain their young stars. But could there be another motive behind this trade? Lane Johnson, the longtime Eagles offensive tackle, sent out a cryptic tweet just minutes after the Gardner Johnson trade was announced. The tweet? 2 simple words: Howie season, followed by the infamous eyeball emojis. Lane has been around this organization for over a decade. He knows the front office. He knows the moves they like to make. So what does he know that we don't? There's one name that keeps surfacing in the rumor mill: Trey Hendrickson. Hendrickson, the star pass rusher from the Cincinnati Bengals, has been given permission to seek a trade. And guess what? The Eagles need an elite edge rusher. Hendrickson has been one of the most consistent sack artists in the league over the past 2 seasons, racking up 17 sacks in that span. He's never missed a game during that time and, at 30 years old, still has elite football left in him.
Howie Roseman has built this Eagles franchise with one clear philosophy: dominate the trenches. He loves investing in defensive linemen who can pressure the quarterback, and that's exactly what won them a Super Bowl against the Chiefs just a few months ago. Hendrickson fits that mold perfectly. But here's the kicker: he won't cost nearly as much as someone like Myles Garrett, who just signed a historic contract with Cleveland. Hendrickson is still due a new deal, but compared to Garrett's $40 million per year contract, his price tag will be far more manageable. And after trading Gardner Johnson and freeing up some cap space, could the Eagles be positioning themselves to make this blockbuster trade? If Howie Roseman pulls this off, it would send a clear message: the Eagles are all in once again. And then there's another wrinkle to this. What about the secondary? The Gardner Johnson trade leaves a gap at safety, with Reed Blankenship as the only locked-in starter. Could the Eagles make a move to bring in veteran help? One name to watch is Justin Simmons. Simmons, a 4-time All-Pro, was just let go by the Denver Broncos. He has experience playing under Vic Fangio and defensive backs coach Christian Parker, both of whom are now in Philadelphia. In a recent interview, Simmons himself admitted that the Eagles are high on his list of potential landing spots in free agency. Now, let's be clear, Simmons isn't the same player he was a few years ago. Last season with the Falcons, he had arguably the worst year of his career, but he still produced 7 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. If the Eagles were to sign him, it wouldn't be to make him the star of the secondary. It would be to provide depth, leadership, and competition for the young guys like Sidney Brown. So let's recap. The Eagles trade Gardner Johnson, clearing cap space. Lane Johnson hints at something big coming. Trey Hendrickson is available. Justin Simmons sees Philadelphia as a prime destination. All of these moves are lining up for what could be another classic Howie Roseman power play. Eagles fans, what do you think? Is Hendrickson the missing piece for this defense? Should Philly bring in Justin Simmons? Or is Howie planning something even bigger that we haven't even thought about yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about it. And here's where things get even more interesting. If Howie Roseman truly has a blockbuster move in the works, it wouldn't be the first time he's shocked the league. Remember, this is the same general manager who stole A.J. Brown from the Titans, who flipped Carson Wentz for valuable draft capital, and who built a Super Bowl winning roster not once, but twice, with strategic, aggressive moves. So why has Philadelphia been so quiet through the first 2 days of free agency? That's not normal. When a team is in win-now mode, especially after just winning a Super Bowl, you expect them to be active. Instead, the Eagles have made only a handful of moves, and none of them have been major external signings. That's why Lane Johnson's tweet is so intriguing. If a team leader like Lane, who is in constant communication with Roseman and the front office, is hinting at something big, you better believe something's brewing. Let's go back to Trey Hendrickson for a moment. If the Eagles do trade for him, what would that look like? The Bengals aren't going to give him away for nothing. But the reality is, Cincinnati has to make tough financial decisions. They've already committed massive money to Joe Burrow, and they have key players like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase who are due for big paydays soon. The Bengals could be looking to offload Hendrickson's contract in exchange for future draft capital, and that's where the Eagles come in. Philadelphia has been smart with their picks, and Roseman has always valued trading for proven talent over rolling the dice in the draft. If the Eagles offered, say, a third-round pick and a future mid-round selection, that could be enough to get the deal done. And think about what adding Hendrickson would do to this defense. Pairing him with Haason Reddick, Josh Sweat, and Jalen Carter would make the Eagles' pass rush even deadlier than it already is. And what if Howie isn't just looking at defense? What if the Gardner Johnson trade was part of a larger plan that includes bolstering the offense as well? With Jason Kelce officially retiring, the Eagles now have a hole in the middle of their offensive line. Cam Jurgens is expected to slide over to center, but that still leaves questions at right guard. Yes, Kenyon Green was acquired in the trade, but is he really the answer? Or is there another move on the horizon? One name to keep an eye on is Dalton Risner. The former Broncos guard is still on the market and has been one of the most underrated offensive linemen in football. He's tough, physical, and has the versatility to play both guard spots. If the Eagles aren't fully sold on Green, signing someone like Risner would provide an insurance policy while Stoutland works his magic on the young lineman. And here's another wild card, Derrick Henry. Now, I know the Eagles just won a Super Bowl with a running back by committee approach, but if there's even a slight chance that Henry is available via trade, how could you not consider it? The Titans seem to be moving in a new direction, and if Philadelphia wants to truly dominate in the trenches, pairing Derrick Henry with Jalen Hurts would be an absolute nightmare for opposing defenses. Now, that might just be a dream scenario, but one thing is certain, Howie Roseman isn't done yet. Whether it's Trey Hendrickson, Justin Simmons, another offensive lineman, or even a surprise name we haven't mentioned yet, the Eagles are positioning themselves for something big. And that brings us back to the fans. What do you think is coming next? Is Hendrickson the missing piece? Should the Eagles focus more on the secondary? Or do they have their eyes on an offensive weapon to help Jalen Hurts? Whatever it is, one thing is clear. When Howie Roseman is in Howie season mode, expect the unexpected. Drop your thoughts below, Eagles fans, because this offseason is just getting started.